because today we are diving into a really fascinating Group C match from the FIFA Club World Cup 2025. We're talking Bayern Munich versus Boca Juniors. And look, this wasn't just another game. It was pretty gritty, wasn't it? An intense battle at the Hard Rock Stadium. Our mission here is simple. Unpack the key moments, the hidden insights from this clash of giants, giving you a real shortcut to understanding why this game was so compelling.
Absolutely. And you got to look at the pre-match context. It really set things up perfectly. Bayern came into this absolutely red hot. I mean, they just smashed Auckland City 10-0. Confidence must have been, well, sky high.
10-0, yeah.
Right. But then Boca, they were coming off a very different result. That tough 2-2 draw with Benfica showed a different kind of resilience, maybe more gritty.
More battle-hardened, perhaps.
Exactly. So that difference really framed this Pacific challenge each team faced going into this massive Group C game.
Right. Let's talk lineups quickly, because the names on the sheet, they really told you something about the talent involved. For Bayern, you had, obviously, Harry Kane up front, clinical, Michael Olise out wide, and the brilliant Jamal Musiala in midfield.
Key players.
And Boca, Merentiel leading the line for them, always a threat, someone who can definitely unsettle defenses. It painted quite a picture, didn't it? So thinking about that huge Bayern win before this, did you see any early signs that maybe Boca's resilience might cause them problems?
I think so, yeah. Look, initially, Bayern did what Bayern do. They pressed high, looked confident. But Boca, they didn't just roll over. Their response was, well, immediate and physical.
Right.
Now, Bayern did get the breakthrough, 18th minute, Harry Kane. Classic Kane, really. Found space after, I think, a bit of a defensive mix-up, maybe a failed offside trap.
Okay. Capitalized on the error.
Spot on. Buried it in the bottom corner. But Boca didn't crumble. Their physicality, particularly in midfield, was really noticeable. They seemed to be targeting Bayern's creative players, like Musiala. And unfortunately for Bayern, that intensity worked, didn't it? Musiala had to limp off.
Yeah, that felt like a big moment. Musiala going off, that must have forced Bayern to adapt, maybe lose a bit of that control they usually have.
It definitely did. You could see they had to reshuffle things in midfield. Yep. And what's interesting is how Boca seemed to almost feed off that in the second half.
Okay, so how did they adjust?
Well, they started pressing a bit higher, maybe exploiting those central areas that weren't quite as locked down without Musiala. And it paid off. 66-minute, Merentiel grabs the equalizer. It came from a set piece, a rebound, I think. He was sharp to it.
And you could just feel the hope surge through the Boca fans then, couldn't you? Suddenly, game on.
Absolutely. Total shift in atmosphere.
Yep.
But Bayern, well, if they're Bayern, they don't panic. And this is where it gets interesting, because as Boca perhaps started to tire a little from all that effort.
Understandable.
Bayern's patience, their probing, it started to find gaps. Then, 84th minute, Michael Olise. Just, wow. Cuts inside from the right onto his left foot, takes a touch, and curls this beautiful shot past the keeper. 2-1 Bayern.
Late drama. Classic Olise, that kind of magic.
It really was, just finding that crucial bit of space against a defense that was, dropping deeper, getting more desperate.
And it didn't even end there. Boca threw everything at them in those final minutes, didn't they? Corners, fouls flying in. It even boiled over a bit, that yellow card brawl near the end.
Got quite feisty. Really showed how much it meant to both sides.
But Bayern, ultimately, they just held firm. They stood up to that pressure and saw it out, secured the win.
And if you zoom out, look at the bigger picture, this match tells you so much about, well, strategic resilience under pressure. It wasn't just about the goals, though they were quality. You saw Bayern's clinical edge, Kane, Olise, but also Boca's incredible fighting spirit, that refusal to give up. It kind of gives you that deeper insight into top-level football tactics, yes, but also adaptability, mentality, sheer willpower.
So here's something for you to think about then. Bayern get the win, 2-1. They're through to the knockouts with a game to spare. Great. But what does this specific performance, this real grinded-out victory, tell us about their depth, their ability to handle tournament pressure compared to that, dominant 10-0 stroll in the first game? What does it mean when a top team has to, well, win ugly? What does that tell you about their journey, and maybe Boca's too, in this Club World Cup? Really makes you think about what makes a champion, doesn't it?